All right, let's dive in. We're about to crack a code, one that you use every single day, the English language. You see, it turns out every single word we say is built from just 44 basic sounds. And once you get those, the whole system just clicks. So let's kick things off with a question that I'm sure drives everyone crazy.
Yeah, this one, we've all been there, right? Staring at a word and just thinking, why? Why is English spelling so bizarre? Like, how can through and tough look so similar but sound completely different? It feels like there are no rules, just total chaos. But here's the thing, it's not random, I promise. There is a system, and together, we're gonna figure it out.
Okay, here it is. This is the big reveal, the very heart of the whole puzzle. We have 26 letters, just 26 little symbols to write with. But when we talk, we make 44 different sounds. Think about that for a second. 26 letters for 44 sounds. It's like trying to build a huge Lego set, but you only have half the types of bricks you need. You've got to get creative, right? You have to make some bricks do double duty. And that mismatch, that is the absolute key to everything.
So, here's how we're gonna tackle this. We'll start by sorting out sounds versus symbols. Then we'll look at the simple sounds, move on to those tricky vowels, and finally see what happens when letters team up. By the end, you'll be a regular code breaker. All right, first things first. Before we can crack the code, we need to know what our tools are. And that means getting really clear on the difference between the sounds we hear and the letters we see. Okay, our first tool is something called a phoneme. Sounds fancy, but it's super simple. A phoneme is just the smallest possible puff of sound in a word. It's not the letter itself, it's the sound. So in the word cat, that first k sound, that's a phoneme. And remember, in English, we've got 44 of these to play with. And if the phoneme is the sound, then the grapheme is what we write down on paper. It's the symbol. So going back to our k sound, that's the phoneme. The grapheme could be the letter C in cat, or it could be the letter K in kite. See? One sound, but a couple of different ways to write it. That's the whole game right there.
Okay, now that we have our terms down, phoneme is the sound, grapheme is the letter, let's start with the easy part, the fun part. These are the sounds that play nice, where one letter pretty much always makes one specific sound. This is the foundation.
I mean, look at these. This is what we expect language to be like, right? The B sound in ball is written with a B. The P sound in pumpkin is written with a P. Nice and clean. These are our reliable building blocks. One letter, one sound. Simple.
All right, now let's get into the vowels. And honestly, this is where things get interesting. If the consonants are the sturdy frame of a house, the vowels are all the paint, the furniture, the personality, just 5 little letters. A, E, I, O, U have to do a ton of work to create a whole rainbow of different sounds. Let's start with the short vowels. You definitely know these. These are probably the very first sounds you learned in school. You've got a like an apple, e an egg, I an igloo. You get the idea. Straightforward stuff.
But those exact same letters can also make long sounds, where they basically say their own name. But look closely here. They almost never do it alone. The long A sound in rain needs both the A and the I. The long E sound in B needs 2 E's. This is a huge clue. Letters are starting to form teams.
And that idea of teamwork brings us to the really cool part of the code. This is where it gets advanced. This is where individual letters stop doing their own thing and start creating these little partnerships to make sounds that they could never make on their own. And there's a name for this team-up. It's called a digraph. I know, it sounds a little technical, but the idea is dead simple. It's just 2 letters that get together to make one brand new sound. That's it. 2 letters go in, 1 sound comes out.
And these are perfect examples. You know, a C by itself sounds one way, an H sounds another. But put them together, bam, you get the ch sound in chain. Same with S and H. They join forces to become sh in sheep. It's like linguistic fusion. They team up and become something totally new.
Okay, so 2 letters can make 1 sound. Got it. But what about the other way around? Could a single letter actually make 2 sounds at once? Well, believe it or not, the answer is yes. Let's look at the letter X. Now, I want you to say the word fox really slowly, like focus. Hear that? Focus. That X at the end isn't one sound. It's actually a super fast combination of a K sound and an S sound smushed together. It's a little 2-for-1 sound package deal. And it's the same deal with Q. Ever wonder why you almost never see a Q without a U right next to it? This is why. That Q grapheme is actually making two sounds, K and W. Say quilt slowly. K, W, ilt. There it is. That's why they're always together. And there are tons of these other little teams, of course. You've got ow making the ow sound in cloud, oi making the oi sound in coin, and then you have the real bossy letter R, which completely takes over the vowel before it, giving us sounds like R and star and or and corn.
And there you have it. Just like that, you've seen behind the curtain. It's not just a bunch of random, chaotic spelling rules. It's a code built on these things called phonemes and graphemes. And once you start seeing those patterns, you've cracked it.
So let's just run through the key takeaways. The big one. English has 44 sounds, or phonemes, but only 26 letters to write them with. A phoneme is the sound, a grapheme is the letter. Sometimes letters team up to make one new sound, like sh, and sometimes one letter, like our friend X, is actually doing the work of two sounds. Getting this is the real key to being able to look at any word and figure out how to say it. So I'm going to leave you with a final thought. Now that you've got the decoder ring, what's a word whose spelling has always seemed totally nuts to you, but now it actually makes a little bit of sense? Give it some thought. Thanks for diving into the code with me.